Hello folks, my name is Timothy Adon, composer and sometime sound designer, and welcome to my new tutorial series, or somewhat new tutorial series, a retelling of my original tutorial series, which is implementing Wwise into Unreal Engine, this time Unreal Engine 5 edition. If you would like to know more about me, feel free to visit my website at timothyadon.com. I have a few hopes for this tutorial series, and that is to make this a little bit more communal. As you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen there is my Ko-Fi information. Donations are very much appreciated. It takes a lot of work to create these videos. And through that, I am also hoping to receive suggestions for possible future episodes to make for this series. For the first handful of episodes, it's going to be about downloading the various launchers for Unreal and Wwise, getting them hooked up to each other, and getting our first sound played. And we're going to move on to a few different areas from that. But that is where I am hoping the series to go. I'm hoping for this to be a very valuable resource for game audio people like myself moving forward, as well as a handy reference, because I tend to forget things all the time and need to look up references. Much of the motivation behind making these videos is because while there is a lot of information on how to use middleware such as Wwise, there is very often a lack of context when it comes to how the functions of Wwise relate to where it comes from the game engine itself. So while this series is not specifically going to teach you how to be a programmer, because goodness knows I'm not actually a programmer myself, it is hopefully going to give you the tools necessary to understand how to talk to a programmer and what the possibilities are with how far you can take Wwise and the functions within it, based on the engine that you are in, which, you know, in this series we're going to be talking about Unreal. It's possible we'll go through other engines in the future, but for now, this is the engine that I am comfortable with and the one that I am going to be working on in this series. So let's go ahead and get started with downloading the launchers that we're going to need. First, you're going to want to go to unrealengine.com. And then if you do not have an account already, then you will want to create an account here, or you can do so once we've downloaded the launcher. You're going to go to the top right-hand corner here and click the download button. Scroll down a little bit and click the download launcher button. And it will immediately start downloading the installer. And once that is all installed, I'm just going to cancel it here because I already have it. Once you have this downloaded, you are going to go ahead and run the installer until the Epic Launcher is complete. Now let's move on to Wwise. You are going to go to the Audiokinetic website. And then again, if you do not have an account with Audiokinetic, you will want to create one either now or once the launcher is installed. You're going to click in the Get Started button in the upper right-hand corner and click Download Wwise. And then once you are on this page, you will want to select the platform that you are downloading this for and go ahead and download. With both of these downloaded, you are going to go ahead and open up the Epic Games launcher and log in if you have not already. You will notice that this is the same launcher used for their game store. So if you've played games on the Epic Game Store, then you already have the launcher needed to download Unreal. So what you are going to want to do is click on the Unreal Engine tab. From there, we are going to click the plus button because you will see a blank screen, or you won't see any entries here. And once you click the plus button, it is going to automatically default to the most recent version of Unreal Engine, but you can scroll through it and download any version of Unreal Engine available here, all the way down to Chaos. But for this tutorial series, I am going to download Unreal Engine 5.0.0. Now, I have not downloaded this yet, so this is going to take a while. So I will see you again once this is done downloading. It might be worth noting why I have not downloaded this yet, and that is because every step of the way I want to be experiencing putting together what it is that I'm working on. Because in that way, especially if I make mistakes, we all get to learn from the process. And while I have done this a lot before, I have not done this in Unreal Engine 5 yet, and I have not done that with the most recent version of Wwise. So this is going to be a learning experience for all of us. While I have a little bit, actually not a little bit, I have a fair amount of experience doing this already, it's going to be helpful having all of the mistakes in here in addition to all of the things that I'm actually trying to show off. And we are just about done getting that downloaded. Probably about a minute for you, and it was quite a long time for me on my internet. So with this finishing up, we are now going to go ahead and download Wwise. Go ahead and open up the Wwise launcher. If you are not already logged in, go ahead and do so. Oh, I'm apparently not. Okay, stuff all logged in. So you're going to click on this Wwise tab right here, and it should have the most recent version set up right here. We're going to go ahead and click install. Now, in order to do all of the implementation stuff that we need authoring, we need the SDK, and we don't need the samples. They might be helpful, but you don't really need them. You do need to make sure that you have the SDK checked off. And just in case, we'll also get the offline documentation, because that might be. And for platforms, just check off all of the platforms that you think are going to be necessary. I'm going to go ahead and do Microsoft Windows and Universal Windows Platform. And I am also going to go ahead and do Mac OS, just in case. Pick your target directory. This is going to be fine for me. Go. That's Epic finishing up its thing. And now you can go ahead and do some of your various plugins. Now, one of the cool things is that Audiokinetic did recently update its license policies, so a lot of other stuff is included. So just pay attention to the things that are up here. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm actually not going to use a lot of these. Like, I don't need the mastering suite. I'm not going to use the time voice. This is a premium item, so I won't necessarily be using this at all, and that's also why it's called unchecked. There are a lot of cool things on here, though. That's kind of like, if you have the capacity to use them, absolutely. Wwise motion, optic or haptic feedback, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Wwise reflect, I actually, in my previous tutorials, I have used Wwise reflect a lot, because it is a very interesting built-in system for reflective surfaces. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that, because I want this series to be about what you can do right out of the box, because this technically costs money. Wwise Sound Seed, Wwise Sound Impact Premium, we're going to get rid of that. Free experimental Wwise ASIO. We're going to go ahead and download that just for in case. Channel router, why not? Oro headphone, let's get rid of that. Isotope suite, get rid of it. DISP. Free prototype impactor. Why not? It's free, it's a prototype. Get it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and install this. Make sure that you accept. Yes. And that is going to go ahead and go for a little bit, so that is fine. While this installs, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, it looks like this is going to install pretty quickly. But while that's going, let's go ahead and go back over to here. Now that we have this installed, we need to create a project for it. But we don't want to start doing anything in it quite yet. We're going to go ahead and launch Unreal 5. Okay, so now that we're in here, let's take a quick look. Again, this is my first time looking at this, so this is all new to me. We're going to do this in Blueprint, because that is, as audio designers, unless you are intending on being a real programming element, this is going to be the best way to get into this quickly and give you the knowledge that you need to figure out how things are going to work, even though it's not going to be the most effective way for things to work. Quality preset, make it scalable for sake. We're going to include starter content. I'm not going to do ray tracing because we don't need that. And we're going to do, we could do a Blink project, but we're actually going to start with the first person project here. All this series. Now, while this finishes up, the starter content is going to increase the size of the project quite a bit, but it's also going to give us access to a lot of things that's just going to be very helpful in speeding us along here. Okay. So now that we have this done, we are actually going to close it really quick. And we are going to go back over to Wwise, and we're going to wait for it to finish downloading. So I will be back once this is all set. All right, so with this completed, you now get this very handy-dandy button, Add Wwise to your Unreal projects. We're going to go ahead and click that, and this is why we waited and why we closed down the other project, because we don't want to have that open while Wwise is modifying it. So now it's looking for Unreal Engine projects, and this is my old one from Unreal 4.26. We're not going to touch that. It's even already got Wwise in it, technically. But we are going to go ahead and integrate Wwise into my tutorial series project. Copy of Wwise SDK files, and this is why we needed the SDK files before. We are going to integrate. There's a brief pause there, and I was like, oh, what mistake did I make? This is usually where I run into some kind of issue, because most of the time I forget to download the SDK. But there was every possibility that there was something else I forgot to download. But now we just have to wait for it to apply. Operation. Okay, we are now most of the way there. So with this operation completed, that we can open both the Unreal project and the Wwise project from this line right here. So let's start with Wwise. We're just going to do something very simple in here. Now, to close out this video, we just want to make sure that we can get sounds working. So we're going to go the designer layout. We're going to go to the actor mixer hierarchy, default work unit, and we are going to create a new sound effect. And I'm just going to call this a bleep, because that is what it's. So it is red here. If you've used Wwise before, you'll know that the red means that there's no sound in here. We are going to change that by going down here, add source, Wwise sign, and this, see it. Ah, too high. There we go. That volume is fine. That duration is fine. And we'll leave it at mono. So we now have a beep. We're going to end this. We're going to create a new event, a new play event. SFX test bleep. And then we are going to put this sound in there. So when that event is played, it will play the bleep. Lastly, over to the sound bank, make sure that the default work unit is checked, Make sure that Mac and Windows is checked. Make sure language is checked. Click on default work unit. New sound bank. This is going to be underscore sound bank. You can rename these things whatever you want. Just make sure you know what you named them because it's very important in the future. Check on that. We're going to click on the main sound bank. We're going to drag this event into there. And then we are going to go ahead and generate. Completed with fatal errors. This is probably what happened. Do that again. Okay, the fatal error was my antivirus stuff. I'll just have to create exceptions for those soon so that I don't have to deal with that every single time. Additionally, save your project. So we're done in here. We don't need to be in here for the rest of this episode. Well, theoretically, as long as I didn't make mistakes. We're just going to shrink it in case I made mistakes. Now we're going to open Unreal Engine 5. All right, so the project is now open. Before we do anything else, let us play the level as it is. Because I used a template, there's already going to be some sounds built into this. Let's just take a look. Okay. So it's just the one sound, and that is pretty much the same exact sound they used in the earlier versions of Unreal. So now that we have that, we need to find the script. First person weapon. Girls, textures, mesh, okay. First person, blueprints. BP rifle, let's check that. So now we're going to get our first look at the blueprint. And this is where already we're going to have a good look at what's going on. So this is when we walk onto it, we get the rifle. Attach ourselves to the first person rifle. Bind on use. On fire projectile. So I am fairly certain that this event is being called from the player blueprint. Get camera, a bunch of transform stuff, play sound. So this is what we need to replace. So we are going to, where is this getting plugged into? Getting plugged into the montage play. So what we're going to do is we're going to break all pins attached to this. Pins, play sound at location, that'll be right there, so that'll be fine. Link. We're going to delete this. Now, look for AK. Now, it used to be AK post-event. Let's see what it is now. Ambient. There it is. It is post-event still. So post-event. Drag that here. Down. Right there. Here. And one part that I just about forgot. We're gonna make a new folder. AK audio. Because we need... We're going to go to the Wwise picker. Having to recall some of this information as I go. And hope that it's in approximately the same place as it used to be. Events. Come on. Test bleep. Okay. I think I finally got it. Right. I think... Right. It didn't automatically generate the sound bank. I had to make it myself in the previous version. Video kinetic bank. And we are calling this main sound bank. Right. Okay. Here. Save. Exit. Leap. Sound bank. I don't really need to change the settings on any of these things. Save. Get out of here. Get rid of picker. And I need to... Got rid of... Go back to that. Post event. Asset test bleep. Event test bleep. Actor is projectile. Yeah, I guess that is that's what makes the most. Kind of worried. Let's actually not attach to this. I'm worried that if it's attached to the ball, then the sound will travel with the ball, and that's... Honestly, I guess that's... For the test, it doesn't really... I'm already thinking ahead to the future. This file is all set. Close this down, and now let's see what happens. Okay, no sound. As you might expect. Oh, you know why there's no sound? At least what I'm assuming is why there's no sound. Because I have not actually generated the sound banks. One of the things that I always forget to do, sound bank windows, and this wasn't here before, and I forgot that you had to create it yourself. Generate, generating Wwise sound data, generating Wwise sound... Yes, allow the freaking app. Don't ask again, import. Cool. Okay. Now, because Avast got in the way, let's just do that one more time. There we go. And there you have it. We have implemented our first sound into Unreal. Sorry if that took a little while. I'm getting used to this, to Unreal 5 and the new Wwise, and, you know, kind of reacquainting myself with this whole thing, because I haven't really touched this stuff in a while. But anyways, hopefully you found this at least a little bit helpful, and we are going to get into some more shenanigans in our next video. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave them here in the comments of this video. Feel free to email me at timothyadon@gmail.com, or you can also send me messages on Ko-Fi, information down in the bottom corner there, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye!